the Honorable Principal, esteemed members of the teaching faculty, all the persons of the dais, the President of the OCA, Mr. Santosh, Mr. Vesh, all the parents sitting across three sides of this lawn, above all, students of the junior school. Well, first and foremost, without my saying these sentences, it would be deemed an illegal meeting. So I hereby declare the sports meet open. Friends, in a long career in law, in public life, with the press, speaking at international fora, speaking at domestic fora, very, very diverse in and outside Parliament, in and outside the courts. Somehow when you speak at your own school, it's so radically different. It's just a very, very special feeling when you speak at your school. And remember, I am a die-hard old Columban. I started from that school there, that class there, in kindergarten. And I finished in that room there in the 11th class. We had no 12th. So, a whole flood of memories, a whole flood of emotions. The tentative first steps when I came here in the early 60s, the evasive maneuvers to avoid the swooping eagles trying to snatch our tiffin or sandwich in the breaks. And I am reassured by the principal telling me that if not the eagles, the kites are alive and kicking and active even now, some 60 years or odd later. From taking our first tentative steps to building everlasting friendships, bonds. From en masse bunking, the whole class bunking, through that gap. I don't know if the gap is still there, there used to be a gap there, and trying to walk to the other side. And in my time, the remarkable spectacle of the class teacher coming in the opposite direction and meeting us right at that point. And his expression was priceless. Of course, his particular expression, at least seeing the topper of the class, myself doing it, was an et tu Brutus expression. Then, of course, those remarkably awkward, clumsy, and gauche socials, so-called socials, with that all up top there. It's a very special Columbus, Jesus and Mary word, socials. Of course, the swelling with pride when I won the Lavi Chandrasekhar Memorial Prize, and then in quick succession the Santosh Prize, Memorial Prize for the Class 9 and Class 10. And we already had 6 sections in 9 by then. And then above all, and I say it not so much for myself, as for that golden period of Columbus, in 1975, never before and never after, in the history of senior Cambridge, we had 10 5-pointers, 10 5-pointers in one batch. Other schools who used to do a lot of tom-tomming used to get 1 or 2 every 2 or 3 years. And Columbus had 10 in one batch, and I was the proud topper of those 10 as well. And I topped India. And therefore, well, some of you youngsters should go up there, and I'll go up today and look at my name up there, it's still here on the board. The toppers board in those days. These are not said out of vanity. They are said out of genuine pride and a sense of belonging. to an institution where I spent 12 fantastic years of my life. You know, I cannot help feeling that one tries to spend so much time trying to grow up so fast. And now I spend almost as much time wishing I could come back and be a carefree student again. I have admired always, and I was talking to the principal just now about the remarkable dedication, simplicity and discipline of many of the Irish brothers who taught us and whom we must never forget. A great saga of sacrifice to many of them, from many of them. Friends, the knowledge you gain here is of course powerful, but the courage to act upon it is what defines greatness. Success is of course defined by what you achieve, but it is not by achievements alone. It is by the challenges you overcome and the people you uplift along the way as you achieve those things and face those challenges. I also believe that no education, and I've been privileged to do education up to the PhD, no education is complete till you have some degree at least from the University of Adversity. That degree from the University of Adversity is the most important degree in your life, and each one of us will have it sometime. Your journey not only cannot be always smooth, it should not be always smooth. But remember, every setback is a setup for an even greater comeback. I myself stood where you all stood today as a young boy, and I had the privilege also of being chosen to deliver the student's address. In those days, I don't know if you have it now, we had a student addressing the whole school with the chief guest in the middle school function decades ago. And therefore, just like my dreams could at least partially come true, I am sure each one of your dreams will come true. You have to, of course, dream boldly and work tirelessly towards that dream. Also, and I certainly don't want to sound didactic, school, remember, is not merely about information. It is more about knowledge. But it is more than knowledge, much more about slowly acquiring wisdom. But above all, beyond the information, knowledge and wisdom, it is about acquiring values. And although some of you must have heard it before, when I come to the topic of values, I always like to read this fantastic letter which Abraham Lincoln wrote to the principal of the school where he sent his son. It's a little long, so you'll pardon me, but there can be no appropriate message from a father or a parent, and there can be no more appropriate teaching from a school and a teacher and a principal than the content, the sentiment and the values reflected in this letter. So though it's a little long, let me read you many centuries ago or many decades ago the letter Abraham Lincoln wrote to his son's school headmaster. I'll shorten it a little bit though. He said, "It's an adventure that might take my son across continents. All adventures that probably include wars, tragedy and sorrow. To live this life will require faith, love and courage. So teach him, headmaster, that for every enemy there is a friend. He will have to know that all men are not just, that all men are not true, But teach him also, headmaster, that for every scoundrel there is a hero, that for every crooked politician there is a dedicated leader. Teach him, headmaster, if you can, that 10 cents earned is of far more value than a dollar found. In school, teacher, it is far more honorable to fail than to cheat. Teach him how to learn to lose gracefully and enjoy winning when he does win. Teach him to be gentle with people, gentle with the gentle people and tough with the tough. Steer him away from envy if you can and teach him the secret of quiet laughter. Teach him, if you can, how to laugh when he is sad. Teach him that there is no shame in tears. Teach him that there can be glory in failure and despair in success. Teach him to scoff at cynics. Teach him, if you can, the wonders of books, but also give him time to ponder the extreme mystery of birds in the sky, bees in the sun, and flowers on a green hill. Teach him to have faith in his own ideas, even if everyone tells him that they are wrong. Headmaster, try to give my son the strength not to follow the crowd when everyone else is doing it. Teach him to listen to everyone, but teach him also to filter all that he hears on a screen of truth and take only the good that comes through. Teach him to sell his talents and brains to the highest bidder, but never to put a price tag upon his soul. Let him have the courage to be impatient. Let him have the patience to be brave. Teach him to have sublime faith in himself, because then he will always have sublime faith in mankind and in God. That is a tall order, headmaster, but see what best you can do. He is such a nice little boy, my son. Remember, friends, when you leave school one day, your school is over, but your education will continue. And you need to hitch your star, your wagon to a star, and go in that direction with all your heart. As Emerson put it well, he said, do not follow where there is a path. Instead, go where there is no path and leave your own trail. Always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of being a second-rate version of someone else. I'm sure you will learn all of this and much more in this great institution where I had the privilege of spending 12 wonderful years, and it's great to be back in school again. Thank you so much.